All right, you guys, this is going to be part two of my little flat foot series, two of three. There should be one more video after this. If you haven't seen the video before this, the real cause of flat feet, check that one out first. It'll probably help you understand this one. But other than that, this is about the problems that flat feet lead to. And honestly, I think, again, it's going to be simple like the last one was, because it's going to be straightforward in the sense that the problems it leads to is in a way, it's almost all of the foot ankle pain that you deal with, and honestly maybe higher up the chain too, up the kinetic chain. So basically, we talked about how you have flat feet because your big toe is pinched in, and when it is pinched in, it kind of just destabilizes the arch. You don't have any strength. You're not really using the toe or the arch the way you're supposed to anymore because the toe's pinched into, binding footwear. And the problem with this is now you really don't have a choice but to over-pronate. Like, pronating is completely fine and normal. We're supposed to do that. But over-pronating is what a lot of people tend to do when they'll realize that they're doing it. Let me put it this way. Once they kind of go down the path of like, why am I in foot pain, trying to figure out what's going on, they'll realize, oh, I'm overpronating pretty badly. Like I'm kind of having called a foot smear. My foot is kind of like smearing off, and it's overpronation, it's excessive. So basically, this little section of the article that I'm reading off here, it's kind of straightforward because while you may see one of the conditions you're suffering with, something like foot pain, like plantar fasciitis, bunions, what else do we have? I mentioned a few things in there. Achilles tendonitis is a big one with this. While you may see yours in here, honestly, flat feet are going to affect basically everything. Doesn't necessarily mean you're in pain because of it, but it's contributing. And the reason why is because it messes up your whole foot stance. The whole foot tripod, heel to little toe to big toe, should basically be like a triangle, but that's obviously thrown off. If the big toe is pushed in and the little toe is too, who are we kidding, in footwear, you're kind of back to like a bullet shape. And that's not how the foot functions at all. So the whole foot stance is thrown off, and because of this, your posture is thrown off. Your entire body's posture is thrown off because your feet are your foundation. While that's a catchy phrase that a lot of people throw around, it's just true. Your feet are what is in contact with the ground. It is what sets the tone for how your body is going to be positioned, and it is what generates force from the ground. So yes, it matters very much how your feet are positioned, and any struggles that you have posturally going up the body, you should look at your feet. Maybe you don't want to look at that first, but you should at least get there. So anyway, like I talk about in the article, you certainly can have foot pain that is coming from your flat feet. However, you could have other problems too. You could have, and I'm just reading right off the article, you could have your ankles caving. You could have valgus knee, where your knees are kind of like dipping in from the pronation. Your hips can very easily be tilted. Anterior pelvic tilt, where your hips are tilted slightly forward, becoming very common today. For more reasons than just flat feet, but still important. Low back tightness and pain, upper back tightness and pain, neck pain and posture, the way your shoulders are positioned, are they caving in? All of these things can actually stem from flat feet, and it's kind of bizarre to learn this. Like, I remember when I first started seeing the diagrams of like how people's bodies would be positioned going up, when they're wearing bad footwear. And I didn't get it. I was like, well, how can the head and the neck and shoulders be affected? But it makes sense because the body is so good at compensating that when you give it bad input, it's going to try to figure out a way to sort the problem out itself. The body is very good at compensating, and while that's an amazing feature, we shouldn't let it compensate into poor positions that are going to negatively affect us long term. So yeah, the problems that flat feet can lead to, there you have it. For the majority of the people that I talk to, foot pain is the concern. Well, if you have flat feet, or if you have foot pain, let me say, you very likely could be coming from your flat feet. However, your posture going up the stream could very well be affected too. I mean, I even believe mine is still in need of some work. So anyway, that's the video here. This is part 2 of 3. So check out the first one. Be on the lookout for the next one. I will have the article that I'm referring to linked below, and possibly other resources too. Until then.